Good afternoon. Madowe. My name is Sandra Myflow, and I'm the Director of Social Services. And my family is the Popachico Tatanapa family from Cache, and I'm very proud to be able to work for my people. And like Mr. Nelson said, we are the #1 program, and what I try to do with my program monies is, before I came to work here about 8 years ago, whenever we voted, I thought, wow, all that $750,000 went to emergency assistance. That was what I thought, and I know that a lot of you out there think the same thing. So what I try to do as a director is I want the majority of my budgeted money to go to direct services. So I am proud to say that over 80% of my money that you guys vote on goes to direct services. And the direct services that we provide, I forgot I'm in control of this. And I've tried to break it down into in our area, that's our 5-county jurisdiction. And then our outside area is the rest of Oklahoma, along with our other states, because my understanding, when I had a meeting with Mr. Nelson, he brought us all in, we have tribal members in every state. Is that correct? And I want everybody to know that's watching this on live stream that you are eligible for this assistance. It's not just for those that live in this area. So I'm going to go over some of the services that we provide. And we provide rental and mortgage assistance for every tribal member, regardless of where you live, as long as you are the head of household. Okay. This past year, I did my figures. The numbers that you're going to see are based on the fiscal year that just ended in 2016. For the in-area, our rental mortgage, I assisted 305 tribal members. And that rental assistance, the maximum allowed on that is $500. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's enough to, when somebody needs a help or assistance, that's the number that we come up with. And so we try to help, like I said, as many people as we can. The big area that we provide services for is utility assistance. And, we just had, the governor of Oklahoma just declared a state of emergency, with the ice storm, and in the wintertime, we get a big hit, but also in the summertime, whenever there's a state of emergency, I try to help as many people as I can to keep that cooling system going. In the wintertime, we help with propane. We have done wood. We bought ricks of wood, not a whole lot, but we are able to provide that also. But that utility assistance, we helped 1,323 families. And medical assistance is, we helped 20. And what that medical assistance, what that includes is if you have a family member that is your immediate family, that, say for instance, they're in ICU at Oklahoma City Hospital. They were transferred from here to Oklahoma City. We have helped with families with monies. There's going to be direct money to that tribal member to help them with gasoline assistance, lodging, food, because when you have a loved one in the hospital, it becomes an expense to that family. So that's what medical assistance is. And then bereavement, we helped 302 tribal members with bereavement assistance. And that bereavement assistance is, if it's in our service area, it's $200 for the immediate family, 18 and older. And if you live out of our service area, but in Oklahoma, it's $350. But if you live out of state and you're coming into Oklahoma to bury your loved one, the assistance is $500. So, and then I got other. And what that other is, what we did this year, we helped 110 head of households with a food voucher. And our food voucher system we have set up with Save-A-Lot here in Lawton. And if you're a single person, if you're just by yourself, then it's a $50 food voucher. But if you have a family, it's a $100 food voucher. And it just gives you a little assistance to to help you get you through for the month. Okay. So that is our in area. Oops. As you can see, the numbers are lower in our out of area, but that's why a lot of people may not know what we do provide. And so I've been tasked with, from Mr. Nelson and from the TA, to get with the newsletter so that we can get some information out on what we do provide. So the in area, last year, for 2016, we only did 47 rental assistance. Utility was 155. Medical assistance was 9, and our bereavement was 183. So I want to be able to get those numbers up so that we can help. But like I said, I want all the out-of-area tribal members to know that they are eligible for this assistance, and that our phone numbers and our information is on the website, ComancheNation.com, along with the application. So.
Question came up on how many times can they use your services?
Okay, for the rental assistance, it's one time only, one time a year. Okay, and then utility assistance, we try to, technically you can be eligible up to 2 times a year, but it's every 6 months. But once you reach that 500 maximum, then you're done. Then you're done for the year. Okay. So last year, for fiscal year 2016, we received $750,000. That was a referendum vote from the tribal members that was approved. And out of that $750,000, $561,687 was to direct services to our tribal members. And shelter assistance, when we broke it down, we spent $165,299 for shelter. For utility, we used $282,942. Medical was $10,800. Bereavement, of course, was $129,350. And on the other was $13,671. And I believe that we had a carryover of our funds from last year's budget. Well, we didn't carry them over yet, but we have leftover money. On paper was, I think it was about $50,000. So when we started out fiscal year 2016, it was kind of a rough time because we were coming in to starting our year, and I don't want to say we were broke, but it was just kind of sketchy, and it was a scary time as out here. And so we were very careful and not limited. We try to help as many people as we can with what we had, but we started out really slow until we got our reimbursements from our BIA and our other funds that came in. So it was kind of a little bleak there for a while, but we ended strong. And I want to give the tribal administrator, Mr. Arterberry, kudos, because he did help us stay in line. He didn't. He never micromanages us, but he gives us room to run our programs without leaning over our shoulder. But this was the first year that we stayed within budget. I am very proud of that, and that we did help people. Oh, thank you. I take that big number that I have set aside for emergency assistance, and I divide it by 12. And I stay that's my monthly budget my goal that I'm gonna stay in. And there was a couple of times where we went over a little bit, but there were some months that we didn't use all of our budgeted amount. So I'm very, like I said, pleased with my staff and proud. And usually all the people that we talk with, our tribal members that call, they were very understanding. And they were willing to accept what we could help with. And yes. No, that's coming up next.
We tasked, I don't know if Jimmy said this to WIA, but during the budget precursor meetings, we've tasked social services to what we were trying to do. It didn't really work out in the past, but it goes to the saying, you can give a man a fish, he'll eat for the day. If you teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever, right? If we, in social services, can work in harmony together, where our people need to be working. They got to be working. They don't need to be more or less working for the government, but working in the private sector. We've got to get our people working. We just do. If they hit every social program we have and then they say, okay, 6 months later I'm going to hit it again, it's not teaching too much. Grandma and grandpa are having a hard time. They really are. Those grandkids are on the couch, well, heck, the kids are on the couch. So, the thing is, if we can get them proactive, it's been my mantra. These guys are sick of me saying it. I experience it all the time, with my own family. The millennials, I don't know what happened to them. Someone forgot to tell them to go to work. I don't know. I just don't know. But hopefully they can come together. Social services, Mr. Booz, this would be a great program to do. Just got to be working. Yeah. We have the money to get our people to work. You guys that want to work, get up here, get your drug test clean. Don't do drugs. Help grandma out. Help grandpa out. Help yourself out. There you go. All right. Sorry, Sandra.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, and along with that other, I believe I did 2 monetary assistance to 2 families, but both of them were for medical emergencies. One of them was, we have a tribal member that has a terminal diagnosis, and they exhausted what they could use from prescription assistance. So I did a personal needs to them so that they can buy their medication that they need. And another one needed some assistance so that she could get help with toward one of those sleep apnea machines. But like I said, we don't buy them, but we gave. I think it was $200 was our maximum. But that was included in that other. So it wasn't just the food vouchers. It was for those 2. They were special circumstances. And but because of the situation, I knew that those families needed help. And Mr. Booz and I, we did have this conversation, and we do. A lot of them, when they come in, if they're not employed but they're wanting assistance, they just got laid off or whatever, I do refer to the workforce program. We a program here at the tribe, but also workforce in Lawton or wherever they're at. They have to have documentation that they have applied with that workforce. So Justin and I, we're going to work together, and I can see another component with the drug and alcohol program. If there's something that we could help and do these case plans, and if these tribal members would work with us on developing a case plan, that way we can get them self-sufficient. And because I believe in all the good of our people. We are good people. We're Numina, we're strong. And I believe that everybody wants to work. Everybody wants to, be self-sufficient. But sometimes they just need encouragement. And I just want the tribal members to know that they are strong people. We are strong people. And that we can overcome drug issues. We can overcome alcohol issues. And we can overcome being unemployed. Burial assistance, which is separate from emergency assistance. This is something that you can't plan for. Death is something that, we know we're all going to die, but you just can't plan an exact number. We were budgeted $700,294. And last year, fiscal 2016, we lost 128 tribal members. And that gave us a deficit of $853,704, and we had money that was given from tax supplement. They gave us money to help us to finish the year. Okay. I have a staff of 6 people. My staff are very wonderful people. I know that there's been issues in the past on telephone calls. Just keep calling because we are there. We may not be right at our desk. We may be in the file room, etc. But just keep calling. You can find us on, you can send us emails. I think our emails are on ComancheNation.com. You can, under the social services, I'll have us there, and I have all of our emails. So, thank you. I know. Oh, I will. Okay, I will.
Looks like we have some questions out here.
This fiscal year that just started, you guys did pass $1 million budget, and that's the first time ever that I've had $1 million budget, and I want you all to know that I will be a very good steward of that money, and I'm not going to be frivolous with it. You know, I'm going to do right by you as a tribal member. You know, we use our other funds. We have BIA money. We have others. Now that we're not high risk, we don't have to reimburse. You know, we don't have to use gaming money and then get reimbursed with BIA now. So that's a good thing. You know, but there are trainings that we go on, but we're not, like I said, we're not frivolous people. My staff is very good, but we do go on trainings. And if you guys if you want me to write a summary of whatever training I go to when I get back, I will. You know, because I want you to know what your money was spent on. And okay. Please be gentle with me.
Well, I'm an out-of-towner, and thank you for what you've done. Mr. Chairman, you said that social services was a #1 program. I believe that. I find it unconscionable that the budget is $750,000. I don't understand why it's so low. It seems to me that there should be money somewhere else that we can pull from.
Well, we did. I mean, this year, that was 2016. That ended September 30th.
Right.
October 1, we started the new year, which is the first time that it's $1 million. And then in fiscal year 2018, that'll start. They bumped us up to 1.3 million.
So, what is how much urgency is there right now that we are finally not blacklisted and are able to access grants? How much urgency is in your department or within the tribe to get the millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that are available for social service programs specifically for Native American communities and tribes to help foster our needs? I think one of the things that I've encountered being an out-of-towner and out-of-state is we've always wondered if any of your staff have ever attended any kind of sensitivity training. I can tell you firsthand from personal experience and seeing my dad ashamed and humiliated for the first time in my life that caused me to get angry was when he came to social services and humbly asked for help, and they were so rude and disrespectful to him. Mm-hmm. I think that needs to change. And I say that with peace and love, a spirit of love. I think these are hard truths that we need to
Right, I am for constructive criticism. I understand that. I read social media. I read Facebook. I see how we're blasted.
Right.
You know, and every time I've seen something, I've come back and I've addressed my staff. You know, and we did have within the past 6 months, we did have a training that Mr. Arterberry and HR, got with VOTEC, and they developed, and they came out here, and they did speak with us. And if it caused your father to be humiliated, I humbly apologize.
Well, maybe if these trainings aren't taking effect, it's time to remove these people.
Right, and we will,
and
we want to move forward, and we want to be positive. And so I tell my people, I said, you may be having the worst day in the world, but when you come to work, you need to leave it at the door. And when you answer that phone, you put a smile on your face. You may not feel it. Yanni, how many times have I said that? To not Yanni, I'm not singling her out, but she's my only staff here.
Right. So
is that we do, but I understand, and we have a statement that we want people to be treated with dignity and respect, because every person deserves it, because it's humiliating enough to have to come and ask for help.
Right.
So,
this isn't coming. This is with love. This isn't coming. And
I understand.
There's no reason. These are things to just be pointed out. But I think that if this is the #1 program, the most important program in the Comanche Nation, I think $1 million budget is unconscionable. I think we need to create some kind of program within social services to acknowledge that the cost for tribal members living throughout, like the two tribal members I just learned that live in New York are going to have more expenses than a tribal member living here in Lawton or
Right.
Duncan.
Yeah.
It seems, like I said, there's hundreds of millions. I've researched this a lot over the last month. There's hundreds of millions of dollars available just for social services. And I agree with Mr. Chairman when you say if you teach a man to fish, he'll be able to feed himself, but if you give it to him. But you know what? The reality is we're in hard times, okay? And sometimes we need that fish. And sometimes we need to go ahead and take it. And I think that through these grant monies that are available, I think our budget should be add another zero to that. I think we should have a $7 million budget. I think that people would vote for that. I think a lot of that money should go into training. I think that it should be a number one priority to go into grant writing and get those funds. And most importantly, I think it should be a number one priority to first empty your voicemail boxes so when we call, we're not greeted with our mailbox is full, you can't leave a message. And two, not to feel even worse because we came in, we're proud people. And when we come in to seek help, it's not because we're lazy or we don't want to, do anything. It's because we genuinely fallen on a hard time. We don't want to be made to feel shamed, humiliated, and embarrassed and have to deal with the attitude. And then, when, it just seems like there needs to be some attention paid to that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you. I think before we raise our budget, let's see how we do with this 1.3 million. I want you guys to, we want to take care of that, and I want to be able to show that I was a good steward, but I also want to help people, and I will Kevin. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, and we'll work
Mark.
harder on that.
A gentleman had a question back here about 15 minutes ago.
I don't think it's really, it's not a question, it's a request, and not just for social services, but other programs that take your info, your applications. It's always requesting your CBD ID or whatever you say, your tribal roll number card and everything, each and every time. And I know with today's technology that can be fixed. You can have it on file. Okay, what's your name? What's your birthday number? There it is, right there. And that'll cut down on a lot of paperwork too, and saving time and all that. And that's for every program that takes your information.
Yeah.
So if we can look into something doing like that.
Yeah, I think we do need that. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
because we need to be able to punch in your CDIB number, and it'll bring up that household. It'll bring up, there is a confidentiality issue, I understand, but we need to be able to, like when we do our federal LIHEAP program, and they report zero income, but we want to be able to, like if they're getting commodities, because commodities also ask for income, maybe they have that information on file already, and then it would be there. And it would cut down on the paperwork, and it just makes our jobs easier. Hunter and Charles, can you guys do something like that? They're not even paying attention to me.
Sandra,
Yes.
I appreciate the prayer that Mr. Tadenipper gave this morning, asking for blessings and wisdom for the tribe and for the people. How to be good stewards of this money that we have, not only individuals, but collectively as a tribe. But we know in these last days, and many of you have been helped in these last days by this particular department. I know I have several of my friends and relatives that have. But we know there's never going to be enough money. We can ask for $20 million. Some of you will still be dissatisfied. Guys, we're going to have to start trusting on Ta'af, as Mr. Tipicani would always say. We're going to have to trust upon him. And he's been shaking us for a long time to wake you guys up. And I salute you, Sandra, for helping many, many people.
Thank
But
you.
my whole point is simply this. We're going to have to start digging deep into ourselves and say, Lord, forgive us for making gods out of mammon, out of money, and the tribal government being our God, or casino being our God, the United States government being our God. $900 million is the state of Oklahoma. It's in the hole. $1 billion in the hole. So we're not going to get any state funds. Mr. Trump, don't know if he's going to provide money to the Indian people. Maybe yes, maybe no. But we're going to have to become, what? Wise. We're going to have to seek the Lord with all our heart, mind, body, and soul. And I call for the leadership of this tribe to start leading us in that direction, because our people need help, not only in drugs, not only in jobs and social help, but we need help, and we can only get it from one person, and that's through Jesus Christ. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Amen to that. Here, Phyllis.
Thank you. Hello, Sandra.
Yeah.
To expand on what Mr. Parker had to say, talk about a while ago about the application, I know y'all are forward thinkers, so y'all are probably thinking about how can you make those applications to be fillable online. Because then although we have outreach centers, there are people who aren't near them, or it's just, we would save gas instead of coming in. We'd just be able to fill out application online and, submit whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's been considered or what. I'm assuming it has been.
Yeah. Yeah. Charles, how difficult would it be to make our applications where we can fill them in online and submit it by email or submit it?
You just push submit. A lot of them have that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say that we are in the beginning process of a new website. This coming Thursday, we're meeting with the developers, and it will be something of grandeur. And we'll be able to do just what you're asking about, direct interaction to applications and those things of that nature. And I'm going to invite you guys on Thursday to put your input in. We're going to make this a big, grand, new ComancheNation.com. And we're going to have just the things that you're asking for.
Okay, and then I have one more question.
Okay.
On that budget that you showed a while ago, it was $750,000, and I'm assuming that was only social services.
Yes.
But you also listed bereavement. Does bereavement have its separate line item?
Bereavement has a separate line item. The budget that was passed for bereavement was $300,000
For that particular year,
for
the one that you showed.
for that particular year.
So it should have been $300,000 plus $750.
They're
because you did
two separate line items.
Yes.
When you on referendum vote, they're listed separately.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But when you showed your expenses and you showed that budget
I
of
just think-
$750,000,
Yeah.
you had bereavement under that.
Yeah, but I
But-
should have done it separate like I did burial. I
Okay,
should have
so
had
it-
it separate.
So it should have been 750 plus 300,000.
Yes, since
because
I
the
included those figures. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sandra, do you think down the road that there's some improvement to try and help the disabled, developmentally disabled in our social services program?
I know that we had a discussion before when you had called, and we really there's not in any because he's in your. They're usually in a household with someone. Now, if they were able to be on their own and had their own place, then yes, that would be a separate household. So I don't.
But what I'm getting at is how many people in our tribe are developmentally disabled who probably need some kind of assistance, and there's really nothing.
I don't have a demographic unless there was something that we could. I don't even know how to start one. I don't know if that would be enrollment or I don't know, Jimmy. Do you know how we could get it?
I think you'd have to be specific on what
in the
those needs
future.
were.
No, what I'm talking about is in the future. If something happens to me and my son's alone and who's development disabled, but he has a home, would social services be able
He would be.
assist him
Yes,
in
yes,
his
ma'am.
own home?
Yes, yeah.
But that-
He
but
is.
those are the-
If as long as he is an enrolled tribal member, which I know he is, then yes, he is eligible for these services. 18 years old, head of household. That's what the application says.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Sandra.
Oh, thank you.